But so and he says in the end, not all of them are going to be able to make it, but there's going to be a large number of really famous people talking to the audience. And so unfortunately, he set it as an undergraduate course. And so I said, well, that's not so good. Then no graduate student will want to take it because it's an elective, not an option. And he said he's willing to open a concurrent graduate section. So if you're interested, it really is a fun course. And you could also take it as an elective, of course, but you would be able to meet people who you will never be able to meet in your life. Now, I would want to take the course, but he says I'm going to intimidate the students. I can't. And so you should definitely take that into account. So it's going to be so much more interesting than certainly more interesting than this course, but it's more interesting than just about anything else you can take. And so send him an email and say, Horstman said I could do this as a graduate course, what gives? And if he gets enough of those emails, then the secretary will open the graduate section. It might just be he just needs one or two, I don't know. So check it out. It's highly, highly recommended. And Mac is a great guy, a great personality. So I mean, it's an experience that it's a once in a lifetime thing. He's never going to get these people to do it again, because once they see, that in what bad shape San Jose State is, that it's going to go to Stanford again next time. But this time he hasn't. And then the other thing is, there's the summer university that we're having every year, and it alternates. Sometimes it's in Switzerland, sometimes it's here, sometimes it's in Long Beach. It was in Long Beach last summer, and next year it's going to be in Switzerland, Yverdon. And it's this kind of odd thing. The Swiss government funds a large part of it because they want their students to have more international experience. It's in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where they're all overwhelmed with having to learn German as their first foreign language, and then English as the second foreign language, and so they kind of feel a little isolated. And so the Swiss government is kicking in some money that they are in contact with more students. And they're going to subsidize the travel expenses. Yeah?
I'm graduating in May 2012.
Yeah?
Can I still go?
That's a good question. You might delay your graduation until the summer. I don't know. I have no idea.
So, who is the right person to ask?
Dr. Pierce. Yes. Yeah, so Dr. Pierce has been running this with great enthusiasm for a while. And so it's something that at some point there's going to be this announcement coming out, and then there's only a short amount of time to plan for this. And sometimes students, they don't, then they look at it and say, well, this sounds kind of interesting, but I haven't really spent time to look for additional funding, because there's an extra expense. That they'll subsidize the plane ticket, and I think they provide free lodging or subsidized lodging, I'm not quite sure. But there's some expense from the student side, and it's for a student it can be a non-trivial expense. And yeah.
I'm sorry. What is the summary usually regarding?
So it's students meet at this one place and take short courses. You get a 3-unit credit, elective credit for it.
And do we have to register for that course?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a 180 course or something. I don't know. It's kind of like the internship course. It's an undergraduate 3-unit course that, as long as you don't have other electives, you can use for your master's degree. And that's why some people kind of found it attractive, because their schedule was so they took 3 and 3 and 3 courses, and that way they were able to get out fast by planning. So if I've had one student who really managed to do this right. She came in first semester, did her English stuff, and then she started 297 and then 298, and then she took that summer course somehow, and she was out in 18 months. So it gives some flexibility in getting some summer credit when otherwise there are not that many courses offered over the summer. And it's great fun, because the Swiss people are a lot of fun. Switzerland's beautiful. The instructional program is of high quality. You learn interesting, kind of off the beaten track things in a short amount of time. So I would recommend it highly. Have a look at what they did before and see if that's something where you might want to scrounge up some extra money for. And then when the application comes out, then at least you would know that it's out there. And depending on it's always more competitive when it goes out, when we go to Switzerland, because more people want to go to Switzerland than to Long Beach, obviously. But that's okay. I mean, it just, I think last time we've taken just about every qualified applicant. So this may be another one of those once in a lifetime things. And eventually the funding will run out because the Swiss will realize that they're spending a lot of money for an incremental gain. But hey, as long as it lasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there some criteria, like you need to register for some amount of courses? Or?
No, I mean the way it works is they will want to see your grades and stuff because if there's more applicants than available space, they'll pick the smartest students. But you need to register for one course, whose course number I don't know, but it's like 180i. It's a 3-unit course. You get a grade. That grade is composed of the grades that you get in the various short courses that you take there. So in each of those short courses, you assemble points and then they add them all together and curve it in some way. And I would imagine most people, it's a summer school, the grading is kind of lenient, but so I'm sure everyone gets an A or a B in the end, but it's possible not to. And it's just that there's the expense of the 3 units, of course, and more importantly, there is some travel expense that you need a budget. So it's cheaper than if you went on your own, but it's not free. Yeah, and then there is the issue that the American currency is, of course, not the strongest currency anymore. So living in Switzerland is more expensive than you would ever have thought possible. So every time when I go there, my wife looks at the supermarket. She looks at the prices of the ground beef. She just wants to die. So these two things, think about it. Those really are somewhat extraordinary opportunities that you won't find every day. The other thing that you need to do is, let's see, I have my green sheet. I don't. Let me just open it real quick. I'm supposed to check prerequisites, and in order to make that simple for me, oops, this is the wrong. That is the wrong course. I want you all to send me a prerequisite quiz. So I'm giving you, I need to check that you have had some experience in some other programming language, that you've taken a programming language course. So I'm asking you to come up with a very simple program. And do it a couple of ways. And then since I have you, I figure I might as well see that you can install your software. And so I want to see that you have done this in a bash shell. And then the third thing is I want to add you onto Mercurial. And Mercurial has a somewhat non-standard way of doing authentication that's actually more elegant than the usual password thing. You have to generate a public SSH key. And so I give instructions on how to do that, and I want your key so I can add it to Mercurial. If you're currently registered, you must fill this thing out before the next class meeting, because otherwise I will drop you for lack of prerequisites. So it's not optional. And also, if you want to add the course, do the exact same thing, fill the thing out, and just put add request in the subject line so that I can tell the difference. Or otherwise, I'll just look in the class list and I'll be able to tell the difference. And then I'll send an add code as soon as I get it. So the way to add is to send me a prerequisite quiz. As soon as I have it, I will return the add code to you. There's obviously room for everyone who wants to add. So just send me the prerequisite quiz.
By when do we have to send this to you?
Before the next class meeting. Because I want to make sure that everyone has the software installed that we need for the lab on Tuesday. So by Tuesday noonish, or so the latest. If you have any problem with the software installation, if you're already on Piazza, if you have already added, put the question on there. I monitor that thing all the time, and then I will answer it, or maybe one of you knows the answer. And someone's going to bound to have some problem with the software installation. It's a mildly complicated setup. And or if you have problem generating an SSH key, or whatever, any kind of problem, just put it on the discussion group, and I'll take it from there. Yeah.
Where can I find the fall 11th green sheet?
It's a somewhat, you Google for Kai Horstman SJSU. Come on.
Just look on CA 40 to 6 and then change the.
That'll work too, but come on, why am I not on the internet? Okay, I'm not on the internet, but it's something with SJSU people Kai.Horstman. If you Google for it, and okay, actually, I'll see it here. Hang on. The awesome bar should have it here. Here, and then it's here 252, and there's a link to it.
It's a fall 2009.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll fix it then.
It's fall 2009.
Okay, let me. Can you send me a quick email about this so I remember to fix it? Because I will have forgotten by the time that I leave the room. All right, I'll make sure you have that link going this afternoon. Well, actually, if you're already in Piazza, you can put it on Piazza.
I'm not.
Okay. I will also add everyone as soon as I have get your email with the ad request, and you'll be added on right away.
So then you need your items and groups, Google Groups, if it's Piazza.
No, yeah, we're not doing the Google Groups this time. It's supposed to be a replacement for the Google Groups, and they say it's a little more interactive. I don't think it's an earth-shattering difference, but I figured since she's a student, I want to help her out. And other people love it. So several instructors who I know very well, they seem to think it's the greatest thing ever. So we'll see. The one advantage that it does have is it keeps track of who asks questions and who answers questions, and so I can like click on someone and say, this was a great question, or this was a great answer. Also. Other questions?
Can we also find the details of the prerequisite quiz online?
Yes, it's in the green sheet.
Okay.
So if I was online, which I'm supposed to be, but I'm not. Let me double check one more time. No. Yeah, I am online here. So I'm just going to have to tell you how to get there. So you get to my San Jose State course page. You click on 252, and I will fix, in the next few minutes, I will fix the link to point to the right green sheet. And on the green sheet is the prerequisite quiz. So the other thing I can do is I could probably generate an email to everyone who's already registered, but if you still want to add, you're kind of on your own to find it. So those of you who still want to add, that's going to be part of the intelligence test to see. If you can't find it, send me an email and I will send you a link. But I trust we'll get that. That's all I have. I guess my time up? Whatever. I'm done.